There is a big concern about the civilian population, and tonight many New Yorkers staying in Israel fear for their lives. Workers here obviously on strike. They're very passionate about this. You see that scrum right back there. Walk with me, John, here. This is Governor Hochul. She's actually talking to the media right now. Just frightening. Imagine that early in the morning and your house is getting ransacked. The sun is just coming up, but these guys have been up all night long to make sure that your corn gets to your Thanksgiving table. Take a walk with me. This is the warehouse. A lot of beeping going on. Whoop, that's heavy-duty equipment there. We don't want to get hurt. A simple phone call the former president received in his office just down the road here in Bedminster last night. His lawyer telling him he'd been indicted for the second time in less than 3 months. And right now, as we speak, George Santos is sitting in the courtroom in front of U.S. District Judge Joanna Seibert. Police say this started with an off-duty cop trying to bypass another vehicle that was blocking the Queens Boulevard service road here. We're talking about an estimate of about a couple of thousand people, according to police. And as that bloodshed goes on overseas in the Middle East, there is incredible reach here to the crossroads of the world. We've talked to people who've come here from all over because it is loud, it is big, it is the only place to be to ring in 2024. Not long ago, this little girl was dancing in her home, the same home that now looks like a tornado hit it. Her grandfather, the super, was in their apartment seconds before the collapse.
My wife called me. She said the building is moving, right? When the building is moving, I go take a look. What's going on? And as soon as I go inside the room, I had to run it because everything collapsed.
Felix Vargas anxiously waited today for his cats to be rescued, still in the building 2 days after the corner of it came crumbling down. Another family camped out in their car, hoping to get their personal belongings. Diana Martinez doesn't know what to tell her kids.
Because imagine, you wake up and they say, I want to go home. But what home? Right now, we don't have a place to go.
She says it was hard even before this, her apartment falling apart. Anyone who knows the now crumbled building says it was a disaster waiting to happen.
Everything is a mess. They don't fix anything. That's what that happened.
Kathy Baez says her brother just got keys to a new apartment and was planning on moving out of the building on Billingsley Terrace. Then the collapse happened, the nail in the coffin.
I came here to support my brother to give him some money because everything is there. They don't have nothing.
Today, city contractors prepared to demolish the collapsed part of the building.
I'm the manager now.
Ben Hertz claims he's not an owner, only out here to help the owners.
There were a number of maybe 100 or more HPD violations. Do you have a comment on that?
No, nothing about that.
As for the tenants,
Owner's working to get them back in as soon as possible.
For the Martinez family, soon is not soon enough. Everything else feels like it collapsed with the building.
Our dreams, my kids' dreams, and it's ridiculous because it's Christmas.
It's just really unsettling knowing that something like this literally hits so close to home.
Forensic investigators in and out of a home that neighbors say always looked a little out of place next to the perfectly manicured lawns in Massapequa Park.
This one, you always looked at it and it looked a little creepier, weird.
The man who lived there, now a suspected killer.
It was a really hot day out and he was outside in overalls, chopping wood in the driveway.
Cassandra Wickard had spoken to Rex Heuermann when he was just her neighbor.
He talked to us about how he does woodworking and building furniture, and his father used to build furniture.
His life as a husband, a father, and an architect seemed ordinary.
Hey, this is Rex.
Just like this voicemail obtained exclusively by Eyewitness News.
Yeah, I had a question for you.
I assumed he just wanted to do some work together, but he always made me a little bit uncomfortable.
I also wanted to touch base.
Dominique Vidal says Heuermann left her that message in late February. When she left a networking group for architects and designers, she says they were both in. Heuermann apparently up until his arrest Thursday. She recalls some of their now chilling past conversations.
And then he asked me if I knew about the Gilgo Beach murders. And back then, I was like, oh, he's just from that area. But now I just see it as a serial killer kind of just putting it in somebody's face.
Yeah, I think he was leading certainly a double life.
Investigators say Heuermann's obsessive web searches about the case, his use of burner phones, and DNA extracted from pizza crust helped tie him to the murders of 3 women, making him a prime suspect for a 4th.
He definitely bifurcated his life as to, what he did behind closed doors and what the public saw.
Tell any kid they have to stay after school. You probably won't see this kind of reaction. But at Brooklyn Charter School, staying late means getting to learn the drums and doing some jumping jacks, Elijah's favorite after hitting the books.
When I go home at the end of the day, I feel like coming back.
Well, it's that literal home away from home for our scholars and also for us, especially those of us who are here from 7 to 7.
You heard that right, 12 hours. It may be a long day for a teacher, but it takes a little bit of the burden off parents like Ariani.
It's amazing because it helps me and my husband work extra hours, especially with the cost of living in New York City.
The cost of living is what sparked this grand idea of extended after-school programming.
Our concern was, why are families leaving?
The principal saw a sharp decline in enrollment after the COVID pandemic and a need for free after-school care for the modern working parent. 80 out of more than 200 students now regularly stay late.
We're pretty full every day, so they're excited to be here every day, like it's a new day, like it's a day they haven't experienced before.
And what better way to cap off after-school hours than with a glow party? Parents, after a long day at work, may not have a whole lot to glow about, but they're certainly a little bit more at ease knowing their kids are in a safe space.
They're at peace of mind, leaving them here until 7 o'clock if need be.
With fewer than half of public schools offering city-funded services after school, that peace can be hard to find.
Of course, it costs a lot of money, especially for 2 kids. You will never find this quality.
An enriching experience for kids like Elijah, happy to give mom and dad a little more alone time.
They don't have to be with me annoying them all the time.
You're a handful, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
In Bed-Stuy, Anthony Carlo, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Sade, Bill, the people here protesting and standing in support of Palestine, they've left Times Square, and as you can see, they've headed down 42nd Street here. They're carrying signs. One of them, Palestine will be free. And one of the biggest messages they are spreading today, resistance does not mean terrorism.
Nearly 2,000 people flooding Times Square in support of Palestine.
Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free!
The message resounding, and according to them, never heard loud enough.
What we are here today to say is that the intention of that genocidal violence is to break the spirit and to break the resistance of the Palestinian people, but it will not be broken.
Free, free Palestine!
Students at Baruch College in prayer before marching to Times Square to unite in resistance to what they call oppression. Many in the crowds condemning the killing of civilians, but they also condemn complicity in what they say has been the slaughter of the Palestinian people for decades.
I don't like killing of children, but our children and our family have been murdered for 75 years. None, 0 time. Like, nobody came out and said, "Oh, why, Israel? Why do you do that?"
The accusations during this global day of action that the U.S. and Israel are a war machine, not received well by counter-protesters, supporters of Israel shouting back at the Times Square protest, days after Hamas massacred Israeli civilians, and now Gaza prepares to endure more of the wrath of the IDF.
I see a valley of death of people who want to murder and kill and only see blood, yeah? And I walk in peace because God is with me.
And another live look here at this very active demonstration. We're on 42nd Street nearing 5th Avenue as thousands here of people in support of Palestine demonstrate their support, fight back against what they are calling oppression. And as you can see, many of these Palestinian flags they are holding, we are told that they are headed to the embassy. This has been a massive showing of support, and we continue to follow these protesters as the demonstration continues again down 42nd. We're live in Midtown. Anthony Carlo, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.